Hello guys and welcome to the STPL Season 2. Once again, I'm being lazy. I cannot be bothered to put up my green screen because there's not actually that much room behind me and I need a bit of room to move around. But this is going to be the last stream of not only 2019, also the decade, which is kind of crazy to think about. Things are a little bit weird for me personally, but we'll get through it. It's coming up to the anniversary of my mum's death, so things are getting a little bit tough. But that's the way things go. Let's introduce our first couple of teams here, and then we can get going with today's matchups. There is going to be 3 of them, so I want to get through them. I don't want to rush through them, but I obviously want to finish in a decent amount of time. And obviously, I'm hoping we get good games as well. So I saved the 3 series I think are going to be the closest till last this week. I know Naz vs Soul was pretty good. I did that on Wednesday. Wait, no, did it? Yeah, it was Wednesday last week, and then I had a break Friday. But essentially, Red have been doing pretty well. So have Eternal Friends. Both of them are 4 wins, 4 losses. Fake Finn, don't give me that. The decade ends like at the end of this year. I know people are like, you don't start counting from 0, but everyone has always said the decade starts in 2010 or 1990 or whatever. But either way, both these teams are tied up 4-4. They're both done pretty well this season so far. Red, of course, have had more total wins because they did play the entirety of Season 1. They didn't place in the playoffs at the end of Season 1, but they did pretty well. And Eternal Friends have done quite respectably this season so far, so looking forward to see how they're going to be doing as we head later into the season. Now, of course, we are up to week number 9 out of these games. There's 13 weeks overall, so all of the teams will be playing 13 games, so it's getting close. Like, both of these teams in the middle of the table. This is the kind of week that's going to be very important and where they're going to be able to figure out whether or not they'll be able to make it to the playoffs at the end of the season. In case you're not sure of the way it works, let's actually have a quick look at the team rankings. Essentially, the top 8 teams will be the ones making it through into the playoffs at the end of Season 2. The top 2 teams will be seeded into the semi-finals. The 3rd and 4th place teams will be seeded into the quarterfinals. And the other 4 teams will fight for a spot, or for a couple of spots actually, in the quarterfinals with their opponents. Now, it's kind of crazy to think that we are nearly at the end of the whole thing. It's kind of crazy, but it's kind of cool. We're going to be starting with a really, really sick matchup today as well. So let's actually have a look at the rosters. Starting us off, we're going to have a Peruvian versus a Norwegian. It's going to be Goku versus Eriador. We're going to have a Peruvian versus a German in King Toss versus LML. We're going to have a Korean versus a German in Pinkbrush versus Horotos. And then we're going to have a Korean or a South Korean versus an American on Neo Outlier. We've only got one mirror matchup in this game, in this series. It's going to be a PvP, of course, because PvP is the only mirror matchup anyone ever gets to see. It's just the way PvP works, you know. Kind of funny though. I don't mind PvP. I used to hate it, but I've actually come to really like it now. Let's introduce our first map. Now the first map, of course, is going to be the one, the only Neo Arkanoid. Now Neo Arkanoid, obviously a very, very fun map. Lots of good games have been had here. It's actually been one of the most balanced maps in the entire tournament in terms of statistics. That's including the Season 1 maps as well. Now the 2 players we're going to be seeing playing here should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a TVZ, which is something we don't often... Wait, is it a TVZ or a TVP? It is a TVZ, so it's not often we get to see TVZ on this map. Hopefully Eriador's race is set correctly. If not, I'm going to have to quickly reload the overlay. But other than that, things are looking pretty good. Let's actually introduce both of our players here. Looking at our first guy for EF, it's going to be Goku. Now, Goku's only played 1 game where he did lose against Cross. It was a really, really fun TVZ though, so Looking forward to seeing how he's going to do against the one, the only Liquid Drone, aka Red's Eriador. He is set to Zerg, so all is well. I call him the Elder Kai of Brood War, which is kind of funny, given the fact he's up against Goku now. But that's kind of like a funny matchup if you watch Dragon Ball or you've seen Dragon Ball or something. But either way, should be a fun matchup. Eriador, his ZVT I wouldn't say is his strongest matchup. I think his PvZ and ZVP are definitely a little bit better. I'm not sure if Drone's around to confirm or deny that, but I know in the STPL he is 2 wins, 5 losses against Terran. But when you look at the 5 Terrans he's played against in the last 10 games, they're really good Terrans, so I wouldn't count him out based on that. But it's also going to be New Arkanoid, which is a pretty weird map, I guess, but has been balanced, as I said. So let's get into game number 1. It's Goku versus Eriador. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position is the Blue Zerg fighting for red. It's Eriador. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand position is the Magenta Terran, looking wonderful in that wonderful color. It's Goku fighting for EF. Now I wonder if Drone's actually around to watch his game, because he did post in the FBW Discord that, oh, STPL's on. I wonder if he knows his game is on, because that'd be kind of funny. If we know he's missing his game, then we know he lost. That's how it usually works, right guys? Okay, I just opened up my dashboard on my phone, so if any of you guys talk in chat, then I can actually see the messages and stuff. But we are going to have a relatively long stream, I think, today. I mean, starting with an Eriador game is kind of fun, because Eriador's games are often quite long. If we have a look at his average game duration, it's actually around 20 minutes. It's only around 12 minutes versus Terran, though. But he's been getting killed pretty quickly. And apparently Eriador saying STPL is a tiny sample size, the rank GIM has to be quite a bit better ZVT. Fair enough. I mean, obviously I'm only basing my statistics off of what happens in the STPL, so that's why I said I'm not 100% sure, but at least I know in the tournament you've kind of been better PvZ and ZVP, but that's just how it goes. And that's interesting. It looks like my chat hasn't been updating on my dashboard on my PC. So I'm just going to close that down. I don't need to look at that now. Eriador going for a hatchery first on 12. Very, very standard. Goku going for a 14cc here. Now, on any other map, I'd say that's risky against Zerg. But if you've not seen this map before, there are a lot of neutral buildings throughout the middle of the map. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it red versus blue so we get the neutral buildings appear on the map. I really hate how they've changed the way that works, but let's actually change it. So I think Goku is still blue and Eriador is red, so there we go. Now we get the yellow to show off all the neutral buildings in the middle. Now, it's been a kind of crazy year so far. We've had some really, really big upsets throughout some of the series. Obviously, we've had Seoul completely demolishing their way through everybody, but Naz took them to an ace match. That's the first time in the season. It may have been the first time ever, actually. Oh no, okay, so the grand finals last season was an ace match. That was best versus noob, but it's kind of crazy. Foreign team. I know a lot of people say the Korean teams cannot possibly lose, but they can. They have lost. White Clan have lost a few matches now. Just Seoul are kind of on another level in terms of like beating everyone right now. So seeing some of these teams here, Yeah, for kind of a mix between South American and South Korean. It's kind of strange. There's been a few teams throughout the STPL that have been like that. Valhalla team are a mix between Mexican, South American, and South Korean. I know they mainly send out their South Korean roster. But you've got Eternal Friends. Seoul started as a South American clan and has also kind of integrated some South Koreans as well. Meanwhile, you look at Red and they're mostly European players. There was a couple of Korean players in Season 1 in Last and Best, but I don't really know what happened. They kind of just disappeared. But they didn't do that great in Season 1. Last especially did better, I think, than Best did. But Red did pretty well overall, so it's not too bad. The European players certainly showing their strength, and Eriador is one of the longest playing players, I think, in Brood Wars. I would actually go out on a limb and say, Eriador, you're probably one of the longest playing players in the history of the entire game. I don't think there's many South Koreans that started playing when you did that are still playing the game now, so I know you had a couple of breaks in between, I think you said, but like, still, it's kind of crazy. You started playing before the game, well, before Brood War came out, so before it really became super competitive, and you just kept on going. And you still play at a super high level as well. It's not like someone like Boxer. Obviously, this is a little bit unfair, but if you were to compare yourself to someone like Boxer, obviously Boxer has won a lot more major tournaments than you have. But Boxer at his peak was really high level. But if you tried to get Boxer to play these days, he wouldn't fit in nearly as well. Whereas over the years, you've definitely adapted quite a lot and kept up with the current trends, kept up with the current meta. And that's why you're still a pretty high-level foreign player. It's kind of cool. Now we've got Eriador going for a third base here. There is already a Hydralisk Den and a Queen's Nest coming in off the back of this layer. Now, this could be for Hive. Eriador is pretty well known for going for Queens as well. And against a mech build, which is what Goku's doing, Eriador is definitely going to be in a good position. Now, I realize if you're listening to this, you're like, you keep talking about Eriador, talk about Goku. Well, the trouble is, I don't really know too much about Goku. We've only seen one of his games so far, and I don't really know too much about his history with the game. So, that's definitely one of the downsides of maybe having these players play for the teams that I don't know the history for. But the best thing about STPL is the seasons are relatively long. There was a lot of players in Season 1 I'd never even heard of, and now I've got a rich history of games from them to be able to talk about and things like that. So as long as the STPL keeps on going, I think we're going to be in a pretty good position. Season 3 is 99% going to happen after Season 2, so no worries there either. Obviously, I am looking at ways to try and expand the STPL, to try and improve the sponsors, to try and improve the prize pool as well, and also trying to find a way to see if I can do this a little bit more full-time, but obviously that's a little bit more difficult now. We do have some queens here on the field. This is Eriador's trademark style, and I'm looking forward to seeing a mech versus queens match, because it's not often you get to see that at the highest of highest levels, and it's even rarer at the slightly lower sort of top of foreign level as well, and amateur level in Korea. So it's kind of cool to get to see this. We've got a lot of Hydros coming out from Eriador now. Eriador has broken his way through the bottom left hand side of his third base, which means we are going to see him go towards this bottom left base to expand. I believe this is Queen Energy. Eriador, if you're still here, if you could please confirm that, because I've never seen that upgrade before in my life. Which is why I get the feeling it must be Queen Energy, because Spawn Broodling definitely doesn't look like that, neither does Ensnare, so it is Queen Energy. Okay, cool. One thing I'll be interested to see is how does Queen Energy function? Does it give the queens 50... Is it like Kadarian Emulet or the Ghost Energy one, where it gives you additional energy cap, but you spawn with 25 more or something? Does it work the same way, or does it work differently? Okay, we've got Goku going for a third base now. Obviously, as a meching Terran, your third base is super important, because your third gas is very, 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 very important to your army. Allows you to get more tanks, more Goliaths. Eventually you switch more into vultures and mines, but it also allows you to get your upgrades going, your starport, your science facility, and you can see the second armory is coming along already. Now, we should already have one. No, we don't actually have an upgrade yet for Goku. So Goku did delay the upgrade a little bit there. Usually I think it's around 11 minutes. You really want both of your like 1-1 finishing, but that's obviously going to be a way off in this game. And Eriador is saying, for the benefit of anyone watching the VOD, that you spawn with 17 more energy with the energy upgrade. So it's not much, but it is a decent amount just to sort of get your spawn broodlings out a little bit quicker. Now, one thing I like here from Goku is he's building bio down here with some medics as well. And that means when Eriador tries to break through to expand, he's not going to have a free expansion. He can't just send drones down there. He's going to have to send units. And those are units that when they're out of position, Goku could opt to try and push forward. Now, there's no +2 attack coming in here on this armory because there's no science facility just yet. Has he even started it? No, the facility hasn't even started yet, so +2 attack going to be a very, very long way away, and your mech upgrades are really what make your army powerful. 3-3 mech against Zerg is crazy. You have to spend an ungodly number of Hydras, an ungodly number of Lings. Now, obviously Zerg do have tools to counteract this. You have Ultras, you have Swarm, and in Eriador's case, he has Queens. Now, tanks being the strong and stable unit in the mech army, when they get broodlinged, that's it. I was playing game against Cadenza yesterday where I felt like I was doing okay, and she just went like mass queen, and I could never build enough tanks to do anything. Now, as you can see, Eriador pulling all of his units down to the bottom left. There is a few Hydras on patrol here looking for dropships. They may of course be stuck, but there's not really too much Eriador can do about that. I think they're more likely patrolling, but it definitely is a bit strange that he would send them all over the place. But the Hydralisk going to be able to chase away this barracks, going to be able to kill some of this bio, but it looks like the 4th base of Eriador has been stopped for now. There is a good number of turrets coming up over here on the right hand side. And as Sun Life is saying, you can't really fight mech straight up when it's 3-3 as Zerg. And honestly, it goes back to one of the things I remember, I think it was either Artosis or something saying, back during like Brood Wars Prime, before they all switched to StarCraft 2. It was one of the English casters, and it was either that or it was some of the Korean casters said, which Supernova Maniac was translating in like one of the live translation things he used to do. But essentially, the way nice Goliath drop over here on the 3rd base. Let's check the kills. He's only killed 3. Wow, he's killed 6 drones so far, so not bad. It is going to get cleaned up, but essentially, the Korean casters were saying that with mech, you need multiple, maybe it was even day 9, like essentially you need more than one army to kill a mech army, and that's why Zerg especially, they need to swarm and take the whole map essentially, because look at what Goku can achieve here. He's sat on his 3 bases. He's going to be banking up quite a bit of money while he's maxing out, just because once he does max, there's not really too much he can build. But it's going to be very difficult for him to move and take a 4th base, and in that time, Eriador could be getting his 4th, 5th, 6th base, getting a massive economy. That means no matter how many units Goku has, the macro of Eriador will just be stronger. Now, we do have 11 queens here. This is a good number. And this is a very, very good map for mech, of course, because there is a lot of chokes and a lot of buildings to delay the Zerg being able to push through. But it's also difficult for mech to be able to expand to a 4th base, because we'll see he's going to have this command center. He's not going to be able to send it very far. Now he is pushing through the mines out the front. This is kind of unfortunate here for Goku, because he needs those mines as a defensive countermeasure. And we should have the queens flying in relatively soon, getting a ton. I mean, if you think about it, this is 11 tanks that are going to die. And how many tanks are there overall? There's 12 siege tanks, and there's 5 unsieged. So that's over half of those tanks are going to go down as long as he can hit these broodlings. And not only that, but you also get the chance of infesting command centers, which is another 400 minerals. Now there's a big drop going into the natural base here of Goku. Looks like the queens are going to be flying in. Oh no, they're flying over turrets. Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate. Can't be letting that happen, but this base is being ravaged, and this is exactly what Eriador needed to be doing. You can see the command center is trying to fly over to the 4th base. In the bottom right-hand side, lots of tanks coming up here, but lots of broodlings coming on in. So many of these tanks going down. Oh, and there's the Infest as well. Infested Terrans, obviously not too important, but that's a base. That's 400 minerals worth of a command center that is absolutely useless to Goku, and Eriador is just going to let this fall, and another tank goes down there at the very end, just making it very, very difficult. And you can see that queen energy really coming in use. If he can keep this queen alive, he's going to have another broodling very, very shortly. And now it looks like we do have some vultures trying to move out into the middle of the map. There is the bio still down in the bottom left hand side, unable to do too much. The queen going down, unfortunately, but that was merely part 1 of the plan here for Eriador. He's building a ton of bases down in the bottom left-hand side. He's unable to take his 5th base or 6th base yet due to that bio. But you can see he's going to start opening up these paths. He needs to make the middle as open as humanly possible, as when this tank count grows again, he is going to have to push forward. Now, it looks like Goku's way of dealing with the queens is going for mass Valkyries. Now, Valkyries are pretty strong. They also help against mass drop if there's no carapace upgrade, which there isn't. Valkyries lose their utility the more carapace upgrades come in, unless you get ship weapons, which is very, very unlikely. Now, Eriador is definitely in a very, very good position here. And it's going to be rough for it's going to be tough even for Goku to be able to come back in this. Now, of course, there is drops available for Eriador. He's sending a lot of units. Another tank goes down here in the bottom right-hand side. And the issue is there's still queens. There's another 11 queens. I think most of them have energy. A couple don't. He's possibly going to be able to find this command center down in the bottom right, but he's not going to be able to get any units down there anyway. So that doesn't really matter too much. Let's have a look at the... Here we go. We're going to have some more broodlings coming on in. You can't broodling air units, but you can broodling the tanks. Only one of them actually going to be broodlinging anything. This is a really interesting choice, but maybe wanting to avoid the Valkyrie shots. Now, here we go. Look how quickly the queens are going to die to the Valkyries. But look at all of the spawn broodlings. The broodlings at the back. Oh, he's not even going to wait for them to kill it. He's going to broodling again. And the broodling's going to be taking down some of these Goliaths. Broodlings don't have any upgrades. They only do 4 damage per hit as well, so it's not the biggest amount of damage, but if there's a few tanks there, that would certainly help out. Now, losing the queens, certainly not the best position to be in, but with another massive drop coming in here to the top left-hand base, looks like Goku could be on his last legs here, as he is taking so much damage. But the tanks get up here to defend, but another attack going down here in the bottom right. You can see that Goku trying to wall this off. He knows how important it is to keep this base alive. Now, unfortunately for Eriador, he's not scouted that bottom right hand base, so he's unable to stop that. He's going to be building SCVs down there, but is that going to make up for the SCVs that he's going to be losing in his 3rd base? The 3rd base command center could get infested here. He saves his natural command center. Oh, I think Eriador's just going to kill it. Yeah, he's just going to kill it, I guess. We've got some Hydras coming up to block the tanks from being able to get down. It is 2-2 mech against 2-0 Zerg. It's interesting that Eriador is actually... oh, it looks like he has sniffed out this bottom right-hand base. He's going to be sending 3 drops down here to kill this. This is going to be another infested command center, most likely. Now, Eriador is going to be sending in units into the tanks. Maybe not the best move. The queens are going to move away. Wow. Wait, did he not see this? Yeah, he did. He should really infest this command center, though. A, it's swag points. B, it's awesome. But he's going to go in for another couple of spawn broodlings. And that's just energy for gas. Energy for gas. Yes, he is. There comes the queen. He's going to be going for this infest. Keep an eye on this, guys, because infest looks cool as hell. Where's the queen? Here we go. The queen coming in just as it starts to burn, and he takes it over. and it regains all its health. It goes up to 1500 health overall, which is max for a command center. And not only is this swag, look how amazing this looks. I love the way it's animated and remastered. It looks really, really cool. And we've got Hydras coming into the third base yet again. Unable to really find headway here, but he's going to get another spawn broodling. And this is definitely the best queen usage we've had in the STPL so far. There's so much broodling energy. He's able to broodling Goliaths now as well, which is just kind of crazy. The Hydralisks from the bottom right are going to be dropped in to the main base. And is this going to be a multi-pronged drop? Oh no, the Scourge up here. Okay, so he's going to be able to get into the third base again. Goku's still only around 45 supply in workers. He's losing his tanks over and over and over again. And here comes the infested command center just to add insult to injury. It's going to fly over a Goliath and get killed. Honestly, it feels like you should just build. You should really just build some infested Terrans. But you can use it as a scouting tool, so that's always good. We've got a drone being dropped. Nope, not a drone. I thought he was going to drop a drone off down there. Now, in terms of economy, drone is only on 65 drones. Unlike his name suggests. He does have defilers. He's gone into air units now. Now there was a drop going into the top right, but that does get blocked without dropping anything off. The queens down here are going to be doing a lot, building up more and more energy. The Hydra's breaking their way through the middle of the map again. And the drone going to be heading off to the bottom right hand corner for sure to expand down there. Funnily enough, these Marines and this medic have stopped drone from wanting to take this bottom left hand base for a very long time. Now, obviously with a lot of, oh, this is really clever. Send in the command center to tank the hits from the turrets. Send in your queens to kill everything else. It's very difficult to retarget those turrets manually. The tank's getting killed at the back. Hydra's flooding on in. And the command center is going to die, but that doesn't really matter too much to Eriador. It's not the biggest deal, as he is going to be up against a I feel like we missed a load of broodlings, but I don't think we did. Is Eriador going to be able to break through here? The Valkyrie going to be eating up a lot of these shots. +1 attack is done on the air. Interestingly, the 433 I think is done on the ground. Now, are we going to get another infest? I believe we should do. A lot of queens flying on in. You could even start ensnaring the SCVs if you wanted to. But looks like it is going to be another infested command center. Would this be 3 in one game? It would be 3 in one game, wouldn't it? And that's definitely a new record for the STPL. And here we go. All 12 queens get ready to infest it. Only one of them can. Jumps on out. The Hydra's in the main base. Goku is running on empty here. There's not really much he has. Is he going to be building infested Terrans now? No infested Terrans. Vulture's going to be trying to move down to block any additional expansions, trying to do any damage to try and cripple Eriador here. But unfortunately, Eriador has just been too strong for too long here. The drones going down in the bottom left, not super important, but drones in the other bottom left base are quite important here. Eriador can't lose too much, but unfortunately for Goku, he is no longer mining. No mining being done in the main, no mining done in the natural. And that means there is absolutely no way for him to expand again unless he flies a command center somewhere. Or distance mines, but unfortunately there's so many the bio down in the bottom right, it's got 2 kills. It's gonna get a 3rd drone. No, it doesn't. Okay. The drone's still stuck on these buildings, but he needs to try and expand down to his 3rd base again. But the issue is the second he moves his tanks away from his main, they're gonna get broodlinged. So is anything he's gonna be able to do. Looks like drone's got a lot of drones all over the place. Hydra is going to be dropped off into the bottom right hand side just in case, and also able to clear up that base there for the taking. Lots of drones transferred down to the bottom left. This is pretty much all we're going to see out of Goku here. These are his final units as he pushes forward. Are we going to have a broodling? No, the broodling doesn't come out. Oh, here we go. The queen's going to move back. Looks like the infested command center still not made any infested Terrans, unfortunately. But 3 infested command centers in one game is certainly good. Oh, there goes the parasite. And the parasite, the purpose of this is to be able to see where the army is, and that allows you to clone your queens a little bit better without having to fly them into the Goliaths. And the second this final army goes down from Goku, there's going to be very, very little he can actually do. He can't even expand here without taking out this command center. And this is just a small part of a very big army. We have... There we go. Goku taps out. GG. 10 Guardians on the way as well. And that was definitely a very good game there by Ariador. Well, that was pretty sick. Well done to Ariador. If you've just tuned in, sorry for the lack of green screen again. Where my Christmas tree is, it makes it difficult to put my... makes it really difficult to actually put my green screen up because there's not much room, but there's only going to be another week or so of that and then I'll take my tree down, unfortunately. But that's the way it is. That was a really, really sick game there by Ariador. We're going to be going into game number 2, which is going to be a PvP between LML and King Toss when we get back after this very short break. See you guys soon.
And people like Kix, for example, who has an encyclopedic knowledge of every map that's ever been released on StarCraft. And
he's the map man! Skibidi on did it did. Skibidi on did it did. Skibidi on did it did. He's the map man! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dee-da-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Be-da-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Everybody plays one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, I don't let nothing hold you back. If Kix can do it, so can you.
Please don't listen to him for maps.
yeah.
Okay, we have a ton of Matrino codes still to use, so I'm making this quick video to show you how easy it is to actually use them. So you click the Matrino link, it brings up the Matrino page. In the top right, you hit sign in. You sign in with whatever you want to. In this case, I'm going to sign in with Twitch. That'll take you back to the page, and then if you hit contribute, you put in the coupon code LSTPL. You can put a comment if you want to, and you can hit contribute right there, and it'll add it to the prize pool. Easy as pie. Okay, it's time for a quick tip. Here we have Neo Outlier. I'm going to show you how to get over these. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 2 of Red versus EF. Red are currently up 1-0 after a fantastic win there by Ariador. Now we're going to be heading into a PvP next, so let's have a look at our map. It's going to be Carthage 3. Now Carthage 3, one of the 2-player maps from STPL Season 2. It's been really, really good. We've had a lot of really good games on this. It's also recently been added to BWCL as well, because that's how good of a map it is. It's very, very standard. The PvPs we've had here, which isn't all that many, was actually pretty good if I remember correctly. CRVT getting a win over Yeti. Now the only red player who's played here in PvP has fallen, but this is going to be one of their stronger Protoss players here in LML. Now LML has done pretty well so far for himself, 42% win rate so far in the STPL. In terms of PvP, this is going to be his first one, so kind of interested to see how that's going to go. And his opponent, fighting for Eternal Friends, is going to be their captain, is King Toss. Now I have absolutely no idea what his quote says. If someone speaks Spanish or Portuguese or whichever language, Peruvian I guess it would be. If you speak Peruvian, please let me know what it says because I don't know. The only game we've seen him play he lost, that was against Or on Carthage 3. So this is going to be his second game. I believe he subbed in for someone. So we'll have to see how he does up against LML as we get into game number 2. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the Red Protoss fighting for red from Germany. It's LML. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand position, we do have, sorry, the bottom right-hand position, we do have the Blue Protoss fighting from Peru for EF. It's their captain, it's King Toss. Okay, well, we'll have to see how this goes. Obviously, PvP can be interesting. It can also be quite boring. I think more recently we've seen more interesting PvPs a little bit more often than the boring ones, but a lot of the time you will see both players going for completely mirror builds. Now, King Toss is scouting on his pylon probe, whereas as LML is going to be delaying his. Now, they are both going for a gateway first, and we're going to see 2 gate from either player, or we're going to see gas into core. Gas into core, I'd say, is definitely a lot more common these days, but 2 gate versus 2 gate is going to be what we're going to have here. You can already see that LML has built his. King Toss is getting his ready as well. Now, going for 2 gate versus 2 gate, kind of surprising given how far away the mains are from each other. It's essentially quite far away, so... And as LML just said, he says quiet Russians on this map and you can't block scouting until Goon is out. So I guess sending the probe is quite good early on, but LML probably not too worried about that. I guess, like, based on what he sees his opponent doing, he can do a pretty good job of figuring out what's going on. But as you can see, the Dragoon is going to be miles away, so this probe should stay alive in the base for a while. Oh, nice moves by LML, catching King Toss's probe with his probe. Did the probe get the kill? No, the Zealot did. Okay, so Hero Zealot gonna stop the scouting. You can see King Toss is sending another probe immediately, as information is key, especially in a matchup like PvP. PvP, there's so many different options you can go for. For a second there, I thought LML was going to try and gas steal, which would be very strange in a PvP, but I've seen weirder things. Now, 2 Zealots, 3 Zealots out for King Toss. The probe goes down for LML here. A little bit unfortunate. 3 Zealots for him as well. The 5th Zealot should come out sooner, but no. Looks like LML is going to cancel his 4th and 5th Zealot, go into a pylon, go into gas, and go into core. So we're going to see a Dragoon switch here for LML. Whereas King Toss is going into 3 gateway Zealots. No gas has been constructed. Now, 3 gate Zealot isn't really standard whatsoever. I don't think I've ever seen this in a game. Usually you would go 3 gate Dragoon, but I mean, this could be a very, very strong timing. If he catches LML before he can get his Dragoon count high enough, maybe he can get in and do a ton of damage. But the trouble is, building 3 Zealots at a time, that's 300 minerals. Can you even afford that on one base? I mean, it looks like you can, but they're going to be staggered. You can't build them all at the same time. And it's going to take a lot of pylon power here as well. So you can see both players going to be going into their 4th pylon, not proxying or anything, but... Now you can already see that LML is continuing to try and scout because he knows how important it is to try and figure out what his opponent's doing. Now this is going to be very, very important. He's going to see the overwhelming Zealot count, and he's going to know he's going to have to be careful here. There isn't actually that many Zealots. It's 4, I think there's 5 and 6 in the main. Again, 6 for now, but he's going to see another 3 Zealots on the way, so he should know the gateway count. There is some Dragoons here now, and Dragoons can micro Zealots down for days, but it's very, very difficult to do that, especially when the Zealot count is that high. And now King Toss going to get, oh sorry, LML going to get into the main.
Keep it going.
Thank you so much, Gosuvigi, for the $10 donation, man. I'll try and keep it going for sure. Now, if we have a look here, we're going to have a little bit of an engagement in the middle of the map, but not too big a one. LML knows when to pick a fight, so he's going to pull back for now, wait for more reinforcements. The more the Dragoon count rises, the harder this is going to be for King Toss. There isn't really a way out of this now for him. He has to do damage. If he doesn't do damage, his gas, his tech, is pretty much everything he could possibly have is way later than it should be. And LML, if he holds on to this, can expand. King Toss can't. He can't afford to expand against this. Now, the Zealots of LML have melted. Looks like the Dragoons. The count is getting higher. Range isn't quite yet done yet. So that makes it a little bit easier for these Zealots to close the distance. But you can see just how annoying this is for King Toss. Like, he has to get on top of the Dragoons, but he's running up against range units, so as soon as he gets close, he pulls them away. Nice micro so far by LML, not losing a single Dragoon. This is very difficult to do, so big props to him. And it looks like he's managed to hold on. Another 2 Dragoons have come out, not losing a single Dragoon throughout the entire engagement. There is a Zealot near his mineral line, not doing too much. Does need to be careful not to lose these Dragoons in the back. Now the probe of LML is still in the main base. He knows there's still no gas, so he knows this is still an all-in here. Now it looks like King Toss could be getting ready to expand. Maybe he's going to build... Yeah, he's going to build a Nexus behind a cannon. I'm going to try and do it this way. Now, this isn't a position you want to be in, like being forced to build a forge. LML has so many Dragoons right now, he can actually just push and end the game. So, that was very well held on to by LML, and very unfortunate for King Toss. Now, King Toss is going to wait with 3 Zealots to try and break his way out. You can see the probe is going to move up here and scout the 4 cannons coming up. That's a Nexus that LML is going to have. It's another gas. Well, it's a gas that he still doesn't have. And Dragoons do pretty well against cannons. Now, range should be done now. There is a Robo done, so he should be able to go into Reaver behind this. The Dragoons do need to be careful. They did take quite a lot of damage from the Zealots earlier, so doesn't want to get them attacked too. Oh, he's going to lose a Dragoon. Okay, losing 2 Dragoons. They're a little bit dangerous. There is 3 Zealots also going into his main base here. If these Zealots can get in. If LML does not realize he's doing a good bit of micro at the moment, but if these Zealots can get to the mineral line, that could turn this game upside down. And it looks like King Toss is going to try and make his way into the probes. Not willing to try and chase the Dragoons any longer. He just has to do damage. I mean, his expansion is going to be a lot more secure than his opponent's. But King Toss is definitely not in the best positions here. 2 probes have gone down. Looks like a 3rd is going to go down. Is he going to get a 4th? Yes, he is. Is there going to be a 5th? Yep, 5th going down. Actually evening up and giving King Toss a lead in probes. But the trouble is, probes are not the only unit in this matchup. He's up against a shuttle. He's going to be up against a Reaver soon. And no amount of cannons is going to save you against a Reaver in your mineral line. Obviously, the Reaver can range down the cannons as it pushes forward as well. And you can see, even though gas is done, core is not finished. Another 2 gateways are being added on, so it's going to be 5 gateways versus 2. But he can't realistically afford 5 gateways right now. He can't afford all of this because he's had to build so many of these cannons. And unfortunately for him, they just can't move. Edgewater saying in chat, I wanted to ask why there were 4 cannons and no gas on one base, and then he saw King Toss was Peruvian. King Toss was going for an all-in. He went for 3 Gate Zealot, and unfortunately, LML did too well with his Dragoon micro and held on. So that's why this game looks a little bit odd. We're heading up to the 10-minute mark in this game. I don't think it'll last much longer. When this Reaver comes out, which it just has, we should see this shuttle flying across the map, getting into the mineral line, be it in the main or the natural. I mean, you can drop back here. It's out of range of the cannon, I think, or at least down here. And you can just ravage the mineral lines. And while King Toss took a probe lead, he did get his expansion up a little bit quicker. How on earth does he deal with a Reaver? He doesn't really have that many units. He's got 5 Dragoons to his name with 2 Zealots. That's not enough. And here we go. The Reaver going to be dropped off in front of those cannons. Now, range on Reavers against cannons can be awkward if it's diagonally. But it looks like this Reaver is in the perfect position here. It's going to be able to take down the cannons at the front. And when this cannon goes down, there is so many Dragoons back here that he is going to be able to push forward. And there is not really going to be too much that can be done about it. Now the Dragoon's going to move forward, try and block their way or jump their way onto that Reaver. But looks like it's not going to be able to do it. Let's actually have a look at the kill count of the Reaver, or at least try and have a look at it. It is building a lot of Scarabs, so we're not going to be able to see it. But all of the units from King Toss are going to be melting here, and LML is going to take red to a 2-0 lead. That's a good Scarab. Taking out a ton of King Toss's units. He's going to take out the expansion. There is absolutely no way of King Toss doing any counter. And there we go, GG, King Toss taps out, and LML wins game number 2. Now that is one of those things that can happen in PvP. They can go a little bit one-sided, but LML did a fantastic job getting another well-deserved win there for red, and that's going to take them 2-0 in our first series of today. Let's actually head into the third series after this short break. See you guys very soon.
Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Okay, we have a ton of Matrino codes still to use, so I'm making this quick video to show you how easy it is to actually use them. So you click the Matrino link, it brings up the Matrino page. In the top right, you hit sign in. You sign in with whatever you want to. In this case, I'm going to sign in with Twitch. That'll take you back to the page, and then if you hit contribute, you put in the coupon code LSTPL. You can put a comment if you want to, and you can hit contribute right there, and it'll add it to the prize pool. Easy as pie. STPL does. Bio TVP. Wow! You got it. STPL does. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 3 of Red versus EF. We're getting through these series pretty quick today just because there is going to be 3 of them, and I didn't sleep very well last night. Now luckily enough I didn't have work today, so that was a bonus, and then I got to sleep until 11 AM, but that's not something I necessarily enjoy. Hopefully tonight I can sleep a little bit better. But let's actually have a look at our next series. If we have a look at our map, first of all, we're going to be heading into one of my favorite maps from this season. Now, of course, I picked all the maps, so all of them are kind of my favorite, but we're going to be heading into Desperado. It is going to be a TVP. Now, Protoss have got a massive advantage, at least statistically, in the STPL against Terran on this map. Now, Desperado historically was a pretty good Terran map. Terrans did really well when this map was in circulation during Pro League, I think this was. I mean, it was MSL. Yeah, it was the NBC StarCraft League. It was an MSL map, but Terrans did pretty well here. But of course, the meta and the times have changed since 2007, and the Protoss in the STPL have certainly been showing Terrans how it's done, and it's been a little bit hard for them. But their hero here, the Terran hero, going to be Pinkbrush. Pinkbrush is 3 for 3 against Protoss. Played against some pretty good Protosses. Overall, done pretty well in the STPL so far, I would say. Definitely PvT or TVP, his best matchup by far. But he's been up against so many strong opponents. He's actually only got a 33% win rate overall, so don't want to delve too far into that. But his opponent going to be for red, it's Horitos. Horitos only has a 38% win rate himself, and he is 1 win, 4 losses against Protoss. So one thing you guys may not know about Horitos is he's also known as Master Ray, and he is the guy who makes... And yeah, 11 games is laughable for a sample size, but he also makes Horitos makes SCM draft, not SCM, is it SCM draft? I can't remember the name of the program he makes. It's SCR chart, I think. Yeah, it's SCR chart. SCM draft is the map thing. That's made by that Heinrich guy who I met a couple of years ago. But Horitos, pretty good Protoss player for Red. Looking forward to seeing how he's going to do here in the STPL as we head into game number 3. It's Horitos versus Pinkbrush on Desperado. Okay, starting us off here in the top right hand position, we do have in the pink, fighting for eternal friends, it's Pinkbrush as the Terran. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand position, we do have in the orange, fighting for red, it's Horitos from Germany as the Protoss. Now, I realize it's getting quite close to the end of 2019, and I mean, FakeFin says it's not, but the way I believe decades work, the end of the decade as well. Hopefully, this year has been not too bad for you guys. I've probably had the weirdest, maybe the worst year of my life, I'm not too sure, but one of the things that has been a positive is STPL Season 2 hasn't been doing too badly. We've had a lot of amazing games, and it looks like we're going to get even better ones moving forward as well. So STPL has definitely been a highlight of my year, maybe even a highlight of my decade as well. This has been a bit of a weird decade for me, but this is only, well, it's coming up to the, you know what, the strange thing is, this is the end of my second decade essentially on this planet as well. So I can't really say it's been like a great or bad decade, given I've only experienced 2. On one of them I was like, no, it'll be the, oh my god, it'll be the end of my 3rd decade. Oh man, how do I not know how numbers work? I've heard of not, oh my god, Pinkbrush is gonna get the, or Horitos is gonna get the SCV. That's so annoying. Interestingly, Pinkbrush choosing to wall off down the bottom, going for an expansion on this map, not super important as Terran because you do have 2 Vespene geysers in your main. The same could be said about Protoss. Tech builds definitely a lot better here than others. And yeah, I'm turning 30 next year, so I completely forgot how numbers work. But yeah, I guess one of the decades doesn't really count because when you're under 10, you don't really know what's going on. Or you do, but it doesn't really concern you if it's bad or good because you don't have to worry about any of it. At least for me. Like, I know some people aren't that lucky, and some people have like really horrific childhoods, so I'm sorry if you went through that. Obviously, I didn't, thankfully, but then my sort of 10 to 20 years were a bit weird. I guess it started off okay. It got worse by the end, but this decade started off bad, and it got better. Then in this last year, it got much worse. But it also got a little bit better as well. So things are definitely looking a bit weird for me heading into my 4th decade on this planet. But that's the way things go. That's just life, isn't it? So it's all good. Now, Pinkbrush going to be expanding behind this bunker, most likely going for a factory expand, as we do see 2 SCVs have been pulled off of gas. Well, actually pulling 3 SCVs off gas. Going to look to get this command center up as soon as humanly possible. Now, Horitos is also gonna expand on 21. Getting a 21 Nexus, not exactly the weirdest build, but I definitely think going tech is a lot better on this map. But that's just the way things go on this map. Like, the way people play it is definitely different to how I envisioned it playing. I imagine we'd have a lot of 1-base builds on here, but throughout all the games I've seen in the STPL, honestly, it's not been that crazy. Like, I thought this map would lead to some sort of crazy air versus air, like mass air rush games, and it just hasn't. We did see a PvP where Sugo was playing against Bonnet where he tried to rush carriers, but it just didn't really work. Because it turns out when you're going for these crazy tech builds, people playing just completely standard will just crush you if they're macroing well. So I guess that's another way the game kind of always functions. Cheese is almost always beaten by standard play if the standard player is playing on like either the same level as you or a higher level than you, which is why at the highest levels cheese works, but it's only because the players are so good that it changes the purpose of the cheese as such. Like at lower levels, like if I was to cheese for example on ladder, not that I've actually played ladder in like 2 months, essentially, like, if I cheese, if I don't kill my opponent, I lose the game. Whereas if someone like Flash cheeses, his goal isn't necessarily to win, it's to get an advantage. Now, obviously, I could say, well, I can cheese and get an advantage, but the difference is, like, if I'm playing from that situation, even if I have a little advantage, I'm probably not going to be able to win the game from it, whereas at the highest of levels, like the top players, they will essentially get an advantage and they can ride that advantage through the entire game. Hey Elfunk, good to see you again, man. Now we've got a lot of Dragoons on the way up here. Very standard in PvP. Observatory first here for for Horatoss even. Horatoss just making sure he's pretty safe now. This is a little bit unfortunate. This poor SCV is stuck until... Wait, that can't be walled off, right? That just can't. I don't believe that. Academy coming in though. Nothing too crazy on Pinkbrush's side. Now obviously Horatoss doesn't know about the expansion just yet, so for all he knows we're going to have Mass Wraith or like double dropship or something going to be flying in from his opponent's main. This is why it's important for him to go for this Observer first. We're going to go up to 4 gateways for now. Is there going to be a Robo support anywhere? No, not just yet. But this Observer, of course, going to be helping out Horatoss a lot throughout this game. I'd say Horatoss has definitely got an advantage early on. He didn't do any damage, but didn't really take any damage. This is a problem though. Losing this first Observer without scouting anything is very unfortunate. Now he did see the armory was spinning, but of course he doesn't know when this started, and he saw the academy was done, and of course he heard the scan from before. But he doesn't know how many factories there are. He doesn't know if there's an expansion. He can only assume, based on the way that Pinkbrush is defending, that it's expanded. But you can't win the game based on assumptions. You have to confirm it. I would imagine that it is intentional that Pinkbrush's color is pink. You can pick your color in Brood 1L, so that's pretty good. So CRVT asks, why seeing the Armory, Academy, and Turrets is 3 more gates? Why is that the answer? Well, you're his teammate CRVT. That is a question I'm sure you'll be able to answer to us after speaking to him, but CRVT is under the opinion that Horatoss should be going for a couple of extra bases. I definitely agree. I feel like expanding in this position is definitely a lot better. And it looks like Horatoss is going to expand once. I would more than likely think it'd be better on this map, especially to expand more to the bottom left-hand main, because there's 2 additional gases there. It's up a single ramp to defend, and there's still no. Okay, so we are going into Templar tech here. We are going into Arbiter tech from the back of this Stargate. But Horatoss continuing to add on more and more gates, an additional 2 coming in. That's going to put him up to 8 gateways overall. Not too bad. That's obviously going to be a lot of Protoss units heading out onto the map. Now, is Horatoss going to go into Storm, or is he going to skip that and go straight into Arbiter Tech? I almost feel like Storm on this map is very worth it. You can storm these mineral lines very easily. Now it does help a little bit that the minerals are split up, so when you're storm dropping, you're not storm dropping all of the minerals at once. But there's no way Horatoss is going to try and break this, right? Like, you're not going to be able to break this as Protoss. This would be a massive, massive mistake if he goes for it. We'll have to see, though. Okay, so it looks like he isn't getting ready to bust. Looks like he's just waiting for Pinkbrush to try and move out on the map. In terms of factory count, we're up to 6. The 6th one just finishing. Upgrades, we do have +1 attack finished. +2 attack has only just started, though. That's a little bit late. And +1 armor is done as well. Or it's being built now. Third base still isn't done here for Horothos. This is what happens when you build a ton of gateways. I mean, he's building... He just built 800 minerals worth of zealots in one go. That's why you can't. That's why you can't afford a base. But you can see that Pinkbrush was getting ready to scan for the bottom left-hand base because he was almost certain that Horothos would have taken that one. But here we are, still no third base. Sorry guys, I'm starting to feel the effect of not getting much sleep yesterday. And where I didn't have work as well, I just lazed around watching The Witcher all day. So I'm up to episode 7 of The Witcher, no spoilers in chat if anyone's actually sat and watched it so far. But despite the fact I've never played the games and I've never read the books, I've really been enjoying the TV show. So hopefully it gets even better in the last 2 episodes. I finished The Mandalorian yesterday as well, so it's been fun. Hellgated saying I should take a cup of coffee and some amphetamine. I don't drink coffee and I don't take amphetamine either, so could be a bit difficult. Okay, Arbiter Tech's done. I missed the first upgrade, but I imagine it would have been stasis. Recall in this situation didn't really make too much sense. Now, we still don't have a third base here for Horothos, and that really does worry me. Because the longer this game goes on, the more upgraded the Terran mech becomes. 2-base Protoss is not going to cut it against 2-base Terran. Obviously, without a third gas, Terran is going to struggle a little bit. But without a bank to rebuild his army, what is Horothos going to do against this? You can see Pinkbrush. He's getting ready to push out before +2 attack is done. He's moving out a little bit too early, I would say. But he's going to scout the army. There's no upgrades, of course, on the Protoss forces. But the Arbiter is going to be a way away from getting any spells to use. EMP is about halfway done, or almost about halfway done anyway. And finally, the third Nexus is coming down. This is way, way, way too late for Horothos, and this could be the move that gets Pinkbrush back in this game. Pinkbrush was definitely in a pretty awful situation. He couldn't really push out his bases, but now he can. 2-1 attack is about to finish up. He's got +1 armor now, so +2 attack is very, very shortly going to be finished. And you'll see that Horothos is going to be able to engage this. And if he can't engage this, this Terran army is just going to head down to his main base, and there's absolutely nothing that he's going to be able to do to defend against this. Now, I've not seen the Arbiter yet. I think it must still be down. Oh, here it is. So he's got the Arbiter. He doesn't have enough for stasis, though, but there's no scan. Where is the scan? Oh my god, Horothos could get the perfect engagement here. I don't think he necessarily deserves to get this, but he's going to. And Pinkbrush's army is going to melt here. 2-1 attack was done, but it wasn't enough. GG. Pinkbrush taps out and Horothos takes the perfect engagement. And wow, there we go. 3-0 to red. Well, 2-1 attack doesn't do you any good when you're up against like a mass 2-base. I guess that's how it worked, because if you think about it, Horothos had way more units there than what most Protoss players normally would have, given how he went up to so many gates so quickly and didn't expand. And he did have one attack, 1 armor. I think that just about finished. Now, we are going to have a game number 4 in this series, so we'll be heading into that after this short break. See you guys soon. I'm just going to get a drink. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 4. This is the final game between Red and EF. Red have taken the 3-0 victory, but Shaylin is going to be standing up here in the hopes of keeping the dreams alive, or the pride of her team alive here in game number 4. Now of course this is the way the STPL has always worked. If we've had 4 games played, we will cast all 4. Shaylin doing pretty well for herself, doesn't have too many games in the STPL to gather stats from, but she's done really well so far. 44% win rate against some very strong players from all the teams she's faced. And I apologize for her YouTube link. You'll probably need to print screen that if you want to be able to watch her YouTube videos, but that's just the way it is. She doesn't have a custom link yet, but her Twitch is definitely a lot easier to get to. She streams quite often on Twitch, and that's pretty good. So Shaylin, of course, a strong player. Castle, and a strong player from North America as well, but in the STPL he's not done too well. 25% win rate over all of his games, only 4 games against Zerg, but obviously losing 3-1 is pretty unfortunate. But Castle is one of those players that I think is definitely...
Now reap the whirlwind.
Oh, thank you.
For the Grat cast all the time.
Thank you so much, Cobalt Blue, for the $30 donation. Means so much. Thank you very much. Just back on my thought quickly. Essentially, Castle is a player that's seen better days. I'd say maybe about 3-4 years ago was his highest point. He's not been as strong, I would say, recently, but still, he's been through a few teams in the STPL. Each time he comes back, he plays for his team, and he doesn't do too badly. Obviously, when you look at the players he's been up against some of the stronger players on each of the teams. I mean, in one of his first games, back after a short break, I think that was round 3, he had to play against Scan, which is like, okay, well, that's how it goes. And Cadenzi saying the Castle build is coming, and Edgewater saying, I keep hearing about the Castle build, but no one says what it is. Okay, well, hopefully you'll get to see it here as we head into map number 4. It's going to be New Outlier. Now, New Outlier, a very strong, very fun 3-player map. We've had a lot of really good PvZs here. Protoss definitely statistically advantaged over Zerg on this map, but I would say if there's a player that can win against a player, it should be Shaylin, and she'll be bringing that score a little bit closer together. But of course, nobody knows what's going to happen until we get into the game, so let's do just that. Game number 4, Red versus EF, Shaylin versus Castle, here on New Outlier. And that's the wrong button. Here we go. Okay, starting us off here down in the bottom left-hand position. Someone who has to win this game to keep the pride of her team alive. It's going to be Shaylin from South Korea fighting for EF in the red. And her opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the blue, fighting for red, which is going to be very confusing. It's Castle fighting from the US of A. Okay, the pylon's coming up here at the front. Going to be mining an additional mineral here as well, just to get that little bit of extra money a little bit quicker. Don't see many players do this, so I don't know if that's because there's no benefit to it, or if it's just because you may as well just send it back, but that's 5 additional minerals that you wouldn't have had otherwise. I'm interested to see what build Shaylin's going to go for. I've mainly seen her go for overpool. Looks like we are going to have a 9 pool here. Wait, does this count as an overpool if it's on 9? I guess it does, right? This is still an overpool, so overpool once again. Be interested to see whether or not Shaylin does choose to expand quickly after this, or if she is going to go for an aggressive build against Castle here, who maybe she doesn't know too much about because Castle isn't at the forefront anymore. That's a good point, Edgewater. I am not in the right frame of mind to be casting today. Today has definitely been a weird day, but it is Overpool, and you make a very fair point of how can it not, well, how could you know Overpool on anything but 9? That's a very, very fair point. But expansion coming up here on 11, supply coming in from Shaylin, so not a 12 hatch, but I think after an Overpool this is fairly common, so not too much to say about this. The drone is doing its best to block the probe here, but the cannon is going to go up, so the earlylings won't be able to get through. Wait, is this... Oh my god. Hero drone. Drone got a probe. And the match is about to end, so don't worry too much. I know you're waiting for the Net Wars series, but we've got some good games in between, so... Our next series should be... Oh, it is going to be Rev versus Ash, so there's some really good matchups in that one. And we see a return of a fan favorite player from Season 1. Not going to spoil it, but if you've seen the TL thread, you'll see who it is. And yeah, that drone is going to inspire all future drones to grow up and beat Protoss. Look at this, it's going to go back home with tales of victory. Bards will sing Bards will sing the tale of the drone that killed the probe and become a hatchery. So, third base coming up here for Shaylin. It's not going to make it home to explain the story, but given they're all a hive mind anyway, I guess that all the other drones should know about it by now, so it's all fine. It's going to be 3 hatch before lair, of course. Very, very standard in ZVP. Are we going to see a Hydra Den off the back of this, or is it going to be a Spire? So, Spire I would say is the more... I'd say actually a Hydra Den is more conventional these days. Going for a very... Oh no, there we go. Lair is coming up in the natural. So one good thing Shaylin did there is she built the lair at the natural to hide it from Castle. Now one of the problems Protoss are having in this matchup right now is the prevalence of a build called the 9734, where essentially you don't know if you're being Hydra busted, or at least you're not 100% sure. So you have to over-prepare, and then if you over-prepare, a Zerg playing standard or a Zerg not going all in has got a really big advantage. But the 9734 in Korea has actually fallen out of fashion a little bit, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, we do have some additional lings coming on here. We've got a Spire on the way, so it's not going to be a crazy Hydra bust or anything. Shaylin just playing this very, very standard. Playing this more conventionally, but oh my god, the lings are getting in and through the main. Oh, this is absolutely diabolical here for Castle. This is not what he needs. This is exactly what Shaylin wants to, because lings in the main are a very, very strong and powerful option. Castle going to be dropping the Citadel in front of the lings to try and help wall this off, but Shaylin knows she's going to be in a good position from this. 2 probes have gone down already, and lings in the main. I mean, if this was Jaedong, these lings would not die for the rest of the game, essentially. And that is how good lings are, especially with speed. Until speed comes up for the Zealots, there is no unit on the ground that Protoss has that can keep up with them. And you can already see 3 probes have gone down. This could be a 4th one as well. 4th probe going down. One of the lings has gone down. 5 probes. And Castle must be dying inside. I know, I feel bad for explaining it like this, but essentially, like, I don't play Protoss, but watching this is heartbreaking. Because you know as a Protoss player that you should not be taking this damage right now. It means you messed up your wall or you messed something else up. And against a player as strong as Shaylin, Castle, this isn't what he needs. Castle needs to be able to gain an advantage somehow. And oh my god, that could have been a 6th probe just there. Let's have a look at the kills. So 3 kills. 1 kill. So one of the hero Zerglings has gone down. But Lings are running up. Gonna see the Stargate. Obviously the Corsair is already out on the map attacking an Overlord, so... Oh my god, if Shaylin gets this would be massive. Oh, and the first Corsair goes down as well. Castle is definitely in an awful position now. The lings have finally been cleaned up in the main, but at what cost? Shaylin is up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hatcheries. Spire is done. Hydra's Den is done. The Evolution Chamber, I believe I saw, was on the way. Yep, the Evolution Chamber is up here. +1 attack is coming in. And Castle is in a diabolical position. +1 attack is done, which is the icing on the cake here for him. But it would take a miracle here for Castle to be able to come back in this game. Now, obviously, it is Brood War. Comebacks are very, very possible. And Edgewater is saying this is where you say nice race, noob, and leave. Yeah, Castle. I mean, he's now because he lost the first Corsair, Chaylin is going immediately into Muteless here. And Mutelisks are very, very strong against everything Castle has. Now, there are 2 additional Corsairs here, which are going to be helpful. +1 attack has not been built for them, though. So if, do we have... Yeah, we've got +1 Carapace coming in for Chaylin, so this is going to make things even better for her. Chaylin should be looking to take a 4th base relatively soon, I would say. We've actually got the Muteless and Scourge heading on over to the main base. And there's no defense against the Muteless here. And I think this could be the final nail in the coffin, because as more probes die, so do Castle's chances in this game. And oh, he catches, Castle catches the Scourge, which is good for him. Chaylin does manage to get away with her Muteless for now, so that's pretty good. But, I mean, that's the move Castle needs to make, but the trouble is that was a lot of lost mining time from the little probes he has. The Templar Archives are finally done, so we should see an Archon coming in at the very least to help against these Mutelisks. And this is a good number of Zealots, but what does Chaylin have back at home? Does Chaylin just not have that many units? No, she doesn't. It's mostly been these Mutelisks. The Evolution Chamber coming up here for a wall, another Creep Colony being added on. But if Castle can get into the 3rd base, like, I can see he's going for Chaylin's natural, because does he know about the 3rd base? I don't think he does, so Chaylin going to be forced to pull the drones to try and hold on to this. We're doing a very, very good job walling out these Zealots. The Corsairs chasing away the Muteless, but the Muteless know that if the Corsairs are at the front, they are going to be able to go into the natural if they want to, and a load of Overlords are going to go down here, but I mean, Castle going to lose one of his Corsairs here for sure. There is a DT coming in. The DT could be very, very instrumental here. But there is an Overlord nearby. Wait, there's no Overlord. There's no... Oh my goodness. This is the move that Castle needs to get back in this game. The Dark Templar in the 3rd base killed a lot of the... Wait. Ah, the Overlords came in with speed. Okay. I was like, how did he see the DT? But... How did she see the DT, rather? Mixing up the 2 players. I don't know why. I was getting Eriador mixed up with Goku earlier as well. But looks like Chaylin has pushed away all of those Corsairs. Just 1 do remain. Or 1 does remain. There is the 2nd one now. 3rd one on the way. But Chaylin survives with a good drone count. Still a higher drone count than Castle. And I really don't know how she could lose this game. +1 attack is done. I think that's +2 on the way now. The 2nd Evolution Chamber was obviously cancelled, but that's not the biggest deal. And yeah, Castle, I mean, he's holding on the best he can. There is High Templar here, so they are going to buy him a little bit of time. Storm is not yet done. Almost done, though. If Castle can maybe expand to the outer edge of the map, maybe he still has a chance. Chaylin doesn't yet have a 4th base, so all is not lost if Castle can afford somehow to get a 3rd somewhere. There is still a chance for him in this game, but it's not a very big one. And Chaylin moving in with a Muteless once again. +1 Carapace is done. No +1 attack on these Corsairs. And is Chaylin going to go for a drop? No, it's just going to be fast Overlords. Just scouting around, I guess. Checking for where the Corsairs are going. Checking for any island bases. You can already see that Chaylin's checking for the base over here. And the one up here. So nicely done by her. Castle's going to try and push out again. Storm is done, but unfortunately Muteless are a lot quicker than Storm is. So they are going to be able to fly away. And I mean, that's a little bit of a better storm, but unfortunately it's not enough. The High Templar are going to go down. Shaylin is going to move back with a Muteless so she doesn't lose anything to the Corsairs. And Castle is going to be reset on the army, reset on the tech once again. I mean, obviously the Corsairs did survive this time. That is a bonus, but it's only 5 Corsairs against so many more Muteless here from Shaylin. And the Lings alone are doing so much on the ground. +2 attack is not yet done. The Corsairs coming in, getting a decent amount of damage done on top of these Mutelisks. Oh my god, the Corsairs getting caught off by the Hydros as well. Nicely moved by Shaylin. The 4th base coming up here in the 12 o'clock position. And this is crazy. I mean, one thing that Hellgated pointed out in chat was the vision of Shaylin. Just look at how much of the map she can actually see. There is no pathway that Castle can take to move around the map to try and get towards Shaylin's bases. And I mean, this is definitely an unwinnable situation. This is kind of like a campaign mission now, where Castle is going to be trying to hold on against unending swarms of Zerg. And look at this, Muteless flying in, getting both of the High Templar. The Zealots running out into mass Hydra. They're not going to be able to hold up against this. GG is called. Looks like Castle said it in Allied chat by accident to begin with. And Shaylin wins game number 4. So, that was pretty good. Castle, unfortunately, unable to stand up to Shaylin there, but she did an incredible job to do that well in the series. Now, we're going to add the win for Eternal Friends, and we'll have a look at the results screen just to confirm what we saw in the series. And then we'll head into another quick break before we get back with Series 2, which is going to be Rev versus Ash. So, Rev versus Ash should be lots and lots of fun. Let's have a quick look at the results though before we go. Red taking a 3-1 victory, a very important game for them. Red and Eternal Friends were both completely tied up, and this is going to give them the advantage heading in to the final 5 weeks of the STPL Season 2. 3-1 victory, Eridor winning over Goku in a fantastic CVT with 3 infested command centers. LML taking down King Toss in a pretty run-of-the-mill PvP. Horotos taking down Pinkbrush in a fairly run-of-the-mill PvT. And Shaylin dominating over Castle in game number 4. Castle did his best, but unfortunately Shaylin was a little bit better, and it just made it impossible for him to win. Shaylin played very well there. And that's going to end series number 1. We'll be back with series number 2 when we get back after this short break. Now I am going to quickly let's go to the break.